Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, and we have some sad news to share off the top of the show today. Former Chicago Bulls general manager Jerry Krause has died at the age of 77. Krause, of course, one of the architects of one of the greatest dynasties in our sport, 6 championships in 8 years. Now, Krause had a complicated history with the players he managed. He often played the role of the bad guy, but in recent years had really seen ever-increasing recognition of his many, many contributions. He was a legendary scout, not just in basketball, but also in baseball. Just last year, he retired from the Arizona Diamondbacks staff. And Krause didn't draft Michael Jordan, but he put together all the pieces to help him win. Fishing Phil Jackson out of the CBA, drafting Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, taking a chance on Dennis Rodman. The NBA family wishes his family its deepest sympathies at this difficult time, as do we all, and he will be remembered. All right, from that, I am thrilled to be joined by one of the biggest playmakers in the league, and this is an off-the-court situation. And this is really one of my favorite things we do at The Jump, and maybe in the spirit of Jerry Krause here. We like to talk about and talk to some of the behind-the-scenes folks that really make the league run. So welcome to sports agent and founder of Clutch Sports, Mr. Rich Paul. Thank you for getting on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Really love you stopping by. And for people who aren't aware, here's just a few of the athletes currently represented by Rich and Clutch. LeBron James, John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, Ben Simmons, Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, J.R. Smith. For the record, that's the highest paid player in the league, the most recent Finals MVP, 2 first-round picks, including the #1, 3 NBA champions. Clutch has a cool thing behind the name, too, right? It's an acronym?
Yes. It stands for knowledge, longevity, understanding, trust, commitment, and honesty. And, you know, when I decided to name it that, I was really trying to figure out, you know, what you need to be in life. And I think all those things, you know, you define them. You need to be all those things in life to persevere through certain obstacles that life brings forward.
Well, obviously, there's a reason all these guys trust you with their career, starting with, of course, LeBron James. And one of the most fascinating things about LeBron, and you've been with him for such a long time, is that his whole career, and he clearly has this additional third to go, there's been these big questions about him, right? The beginning part was, can he win a title? When is he going to win a title? Then it was, can he win in Cleveland? Can he break this 50-year-plus curse? So what do you think this final sort of third stage is going to be defined by for him? What are you guys thinking about for him?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, when you think about LeBron and all he's been able to do in his 14 years of service, you have to understand he came in so hyped, and he had to exceed the hype. He was one of few to actually exceed the hype. So I don't know if you can necessarily say what's next for him. You know, when I look at LeBron, I compare him to what a Steve Jobs have done in innovating things and affecting culture. And he's been able to do not just win on the court, but also win off the floor. He's been able to help guys, his peers, that a lot of guys don't tend to do. An unbelievable family guy, and, you know, being the elder statesman of what we've been able to build at Clutch, but also, you know, being there to help the young guys as they grow in their careers and kind of help them understand where the landmines are on the floor, which is important, you know, and you know, a guy like DeJounte Murray who's coming in, and he's with the San Antonio Spurs, and just understanding where things are, being around greatness for so long, I understand, which you don't get that.
Right.
So I understand where the landmines are and helping these guys understand how to be a pro first.
Yes.
And, you know, and then that helps you along your career.
That is amazing, because the way, and I've seen the way your agency works, everyone is so close within it.
Yes.
There is that helping each other between clients that you don't see all the time.
And it's
with
genuine.
These guys. Yeah.
It's genuine because, you know, we don't value the trinkets.
Right.
You know, I can roll out the red carpet, we can pull the big boats, we can do all that. But at the end of the day,
nothing's as valuable as having the
I don't think the
veteran
coaches
guys be able to help
and the GMs
guys.
want to see. They want to see you get to practice early, leave late, prepare, diet right. You know.
Well, that's actually part of what the next thing I want to ask you about John Wall, because you guys started working with him last year.
Yes.
And then he's had this, I mean, just amazing resurgent season, and it has seemed to be some of the things around him, right? What did you guys add to the sort of 360 circle of his life?
Well, you know, you got to give credit to John first. John's an incredible person first. I've known him for a very long time, and we always kept in touch. So a lot of times, you know, it takes guys a little longer to understand that they have to make decisions that's best for them. So when John came aboard, you know, I cared about his well-being first. Let's put everything to the side. Let's take care of your health. Let's get you focused. And it's not me, it's them willing to want to do so as well. It's a two-way street. So we were able to do that, and he's having an unbelievable year. But he put the work in. You know, he had 2 knee surgeries this year, put the work in, dedicated himself, changed his diet, worked really hard, and he's a basketball guy. I'm a basketball guy. My staff, we're basketball people. And so when you have that, it kind of makes the journey, you know, easier, but more exciting. And so when we get in the bunker together, and so I'm excited to see the season he's had, as well as Eric Bledsoe. He's had an unbelievable season as well.
Amazing. And
ironically, it's March Madness. Both of those guys played at Kentucky in the backcourt. So it's just funny how things work out like that. But I'm really happy for those guys as well.
Another client of yours that's had to sort of deal with all the off-the-court stuff, Ben Simmons, #1 overall pick last season, but has been out with that Jones fracture in his foot. What are the realistic expectations for him for next season as you guys have been working on getting him physically and mentally ready? It's hard after you missed your rookie year and you had to sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, it is, but, you know, it's unfortunate he was injured. But my advice to Ben was, you can still learn. You know, take this time, be around your teammates. He has a great family support, you know, family structure. He's an incredible kid with a high IQ. Sky's the limit for him. You know, what we have when these young guys get so much so soon, I think it's important for them to understand, you know, what it takes to actually be a pro. And so we talked about that, you know, getting in the gym this summer, working really hard. My thing was just making sure we were very cautious because it's not about the now for him. He had a long career.
Which young guys, it's sometimes hard to...
Yeah, and, you know, we work close with the Sixers. We work together to make the best decision for Ben, and I think we were all okay with it. Didn't really focus on the outside stuff and what people wanted to see, but really doing what was best for him. And that's always been our thing at Clutch as a company, you know, just doing what's best for the client all the time.
And you were just named one of the 5 most powerful agents in sports. I love these lists, but this is at 36 years old, and that was so notable to me because you look different than most of the other powerful sports agents. You're a different age. You have different backgrounds. So what would you say are the biggest things that stand out that make you different from sort of the typical sports agent?
Well, you know, obviously my ability to relate to the guys. You know, I have a daughter that's about to be 15, and these guys are coming in the league at 19.
Right.
But also, you know, this is my 15th year, 15 and a half years of being in the business, being around the business. So, you know, understanding it. But again, you know, I tell guys all the time, you go #1, you go number 60, it don't matter. The next day, you start all over and you have to prove yourself. So I don't really, you know, although I appreciate it, you know, I don't do this by myself. I've been able to align myself with some really high-level, experienced, professional people. We work hard every day as a staff. There's no I in Clutch, and it's great.
The acronym, there was no I.
No, and I'm appreciative of, you know, we did $524 million in 3.5 years, and I'm very
obscene amount of money.
Happy that you know, just again, do what's best for the client, and that's why I don't have summers. My summer is over like the day before the season starts. You know, Tristan, JR, I have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope coming up in free agency this year. And, you know, even with Eric, you know, he signed his contract September 25th. So, you know, my thing is just working for the guys. I can, you know, focus on myself later.
Well, you talk about that amount of contracts that goes through your agency, and I do think that's so important. And look, the players are the flashy part of the business. We see the GMs up there at the podium making speeches. The agents are where a lot of the business of the NBA gets done. And I started in your introduction talking about, hey, we like at this show to show the behind the scenes, kind of peel back what's really going on in the NBA. To see a face that is younger, that looks different than sort of the traditional power structure. Yeah. It's such an important step for the league. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, obviously your agency, it's great that it's individually successful, but it is making a statement and showing other people that, hey, you can do this a different way and still be successful. That's been very impressive to me.
Yes, and it's been a blessing, you know, and there's this thing where everyone feels they can be an agent.
Right.
And you probably can, but being a good agent, being a great agent, is a difference. And the difference is because we're in a sport, so it seems recreational, but it's tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And so the difference is a loss of those things. So you really got to be, just realistic. And we've been realistic as a company. I understand Clutch isn't for everybody and everyone isn't for us. But those guys who allow me to represent them and allow us to represent them as a company, they come out on top. So that's been a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Peel back of the curtain a little bit.
Thank you.
We have much more to come on The Jump. When you have two Laker legends on the show, how else do you start? A little remix from the playing days. I love this. Byron Scott, three-time NBA champ. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hall of Famer. I think, we can just stop there. That's probably enough.
Yeah, because there's too many things you would have to say 6 times. It's just too, the list is too long.
Exactly. You guys shared a locker room for 6 seasons, but
Yes,
I
we
want to know what Byron was like as a rookie.
He was kind of like living his dream. I mean, he gets to play professional basketball about 8 blocks away from where he went to high school.
Right.
In the gym that he used to sneak into when he was in high school. We didn't go over those details.
Right.
But yeah, and so it was wonderful
Look
being
at
next to
Byron. So sweet.
Yeah.
What do you remember about joining Kareem and just all these legends?
Oh, like you said, first of all, being able to play in my backyard, play for the team that I loved and admired for so many years, and then to play with the captain, with Magic, Coop, James Worthy, Jamal Wilkes at the time, Bob McAdoo. And then obviously the highlight for me was, when they said, this is where you sitting, it was right next to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for 6 years. And I thought I was only going to be there for 2.
Right.
Because he said he was retiring 2 years. He decided to play 4 more years. So I had 6 unbelievable seasons of sitting next to this man.
Not pretty good. Now, you guys were telling stories in the back, and I would say 85% of them cannot be repeated on television.
Correct.
But give me just one that we can tell.
Geez, just when London was born, I was there with Byron. He didn't know what to do, and so I got to take him up to Cedar Sinai and take him through and we missed a day and a half of practice. That was wonderful.
That's amazing. See, that's the thing is that, when we, God, what was it like? Byron Scott and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used to play together. It's not really a story from on the court. It's that you guys are there for the most important moments in each other's lives, and you're bonded over that forever.
And the great thing about that is we were in there with my wife, and I say, Cap, she's at like 3 centimeters, so we're gonna be here a while. Let's order some pizza and let's chill out and all that. I didn't know, so we just tried to enjoy the moment, and then next thing I know, she was like, "Get out."
This poor woman is giving birth, and she's got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and you ordering pizza in the corner.
It was, they gave her the epidural.
And she was cool.
Smile.
Yeah. She was cool.
Let's go have the baby now.
Yeah.
It was so different.
I wanted to get the pizza.
Amazing. All right. I do want to get you guys to talk about today's game and the subject that's really dominated the last 3 or 4 days in the NBA. The subject of rest obviously was not something that was discussed when y'all were playing.
Rest.
There is
What's that?
Well, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, he has stepped back in here. He issued a memo yesterday to all 30 NBA teams. This came, of course, after Cleveland rested its star players on Saturday against the Clippers. Now, some of them had legitimate injury reasons to be out of that game, but the fact that they were all out together made headlines. You had the Warriors resting a bunch of guys the earlier week. And Silver basically said, this could be damaging to our business. He said team owners have to be directly involved, give them adequate notice. Greg Popovich, who sort of created this practice, he weighed in. He said, we've got to try to figure this out. He said, we want to do the best job we can. It's entertainment. We're all purists in the sense that we love basketball and it's what we do, but we know how the salaries are paid. We'll get together. He said, a lot better than the Republicans and Democrats. We will even say things that are nonsensical, ridiculous, and delusional. So, there you go. Greg Popo has given his Popovich spin on things. And look, there is science that is different from when you guys played. There has been showing that if you play a back-to-back game on the road the second night, you are more likely to get injured. That is a scientific fact. So they are trying to lengthen and preserve these guys' careers. But you guys did play all of those games. We look at the past MVPs. They averaged 80 games we were talking about on the show yesterday. I mean, where is the line here? How would you guys solve this problem?
I don't think you can solve it because the nature of the game is you get tired, and that's attrition. And attrition affects the team over the season, and it affects all the teams. And that has to be factored into what happens in the playoff season. So everybody has to go through that. You know, you can't let some guys slide.
So you think it's a necessary part of playing NBA basketball?
Oh, yeah. You have to win as many games as you can. That's how it's supposed to be played. And, you know, if you don't do that, I think you're cheating the fans. And I don't think that's the way to go about it.
I'm just old school. I just don't understand. You know, like you said, back in the day, we didn't ever take days off. We never had rest and all that stuff. Pat Riley might have rested Cap and Magic with 2 games left in the season.
Right.
You know, everything was sold up and we got ready for the playoffs. But that was it. Now this, you know, and I understand the scientifics of this sport and all that stuff, but still, you get paid to play the game. You get paid to play the game. Michael Jordan played 14 years in the NBA. 9 seasons out of those 14, he played 82 games. So I just don't understand it. I just feel that, you know, that's a way out. And again, with our networks, ESPN, ABC, TNT, who pay all this money.
$24 billion.
That's right. To see these guys play, you know, you got to play. And like I said the other day, if you're going to take games off, make them at home.
Right.
And don't make them a national televised game.
Right.
You know, because again, when an East Coast team like Cleveland comes to the West Coast, those fans get one shot of seeing these guys in person.
All right.
And that team misses or those guys don't play, I would be upset if I was a fan.
I mean, look, Byron, you heard me on this show yesterday. I think this is a problem the NBA has to deal with. They are devaluing their own product. So that is my baseline here. That being said, I'm going to stick up for today's guys a little bit and say Michael Jordan took a couple years off to play baseball. So, like, every time anyone throws up Michael Jordan played all these games, he did have a break in the middle. And we do have LeBron James, who has been in these 6 straight finals and sort of, you know, put in the Olympic time and all of that. I think he made comments at practice today talking about, oh, when I take a game off, now suddenly it's an NBA issue that gets a memo. I don't think that it was LeBron specifically resting on Saturday night. I think it's that everybody was out in that one game.
Right.
And then the week before, all of the Warriors were out. That confluence of those 2 weeks in a row on the national stage hurt the NBA product.
It did. And who are the fans paying to see?
Yeah.
Right.
They aren't paying to see the guys on the pine.
Right.
That's not part of it.
That's what being a star of your guys' level
So
is.
if you're going to get that star salary, you got to put in those star hours.
And we've seen that James Harden, who's one of the other MVP candidates, he had a quote this weekend where he said to the Houston Chronicle, quote, "I'll rest when I'm done. I get obviously paid for it, but it's something I love. I enjoy the grind. I enjoy how hard it is. I think that makes you tougher. That's what makes you who you are." He added he doesn't want Rockets coach Mike D'Antoni to even come with him. He said, Mike knows not to come at me with that. Don't even talk to me about resting.
That's a lunch pail attitude. That's what you have to have. James Harden just he went way up in my estimation for that statement because that's what it's about. You know,
I was already a James Harden fan because he went to ASU. The Sun Devil. So I was already a James Harden fan, but I am now, just like Cap said, James has just jumped up about 10 notches on my list because that is an old school attitude. You know, when I'm hurt, I won't play, but if I'm healthy and I can play, I'm going to go out there and play every single day.
Right. And again, though, you have to, James Harden is a different stage of his career than, say, LeBron. James still trying to win that title.
Right.
Whereas LeBron's like, hey, I've been at this rodeo before. My focus is just on June. But I want to look at your guys' Iron Man record. And y'all play with AC Green as well, Iron Man. I mean, percentage of games played. Y'all flew commercial on these. The whole thing, the sports science, the medical treatment.
We're not talking about that.
Not different.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. We're not talking about that.
What did you do to play? I mean, Kareem, your career longevity is such a huge part of what's the many dazzling things about your career. How did you maintain that, playing that percentage of games and not having the science, not having the private airplanes?
Took it 1 year at a time, and I understood if I wanted to play for a long time, I had to be in shape. So, you know, I took 2 weeks off.
Okay.
And then I went back to working at being in shape and working on my body and taking care of my body.
Right.
And that's the only way you can do it. And there were no other jobs out there that were better than that.
But Cap ain't telling you everything. Now, Cap was the first person I've ever seen do yoga at practice.
That's interesting.
Instead of stretching like the rest of
pioneer.
them. He was doing yoga to get ready for practice. He was the first person I ever seen do that.
And don't sell yourself short. You make a great airplane pilot. So you do other jobs.
I just need a license. That's all.
It's all good. We do not rest here on the jump, not even during commercials. I want to head to this one now with a distant replay from 1999, courtesy of Mr. White Chocolate, Jason Williams.
Uh-oh.
but they throw it right back. Jason Williams, Jerry, got a hand on that and was able to deflect. Oh, what a pass! Jason Williams.
That's my boy, Jay Will.
Oh, boy.
That's my boy, Jay
How many times you
Will.
see something like that
He
that just takes your breath?
what he could do.
Here again, Jason Williams.
But he would do all this in practice.
That's what I mean.
And you would just sit there like, oh, my God.
Thank our Lakers reunion panel here. And if you missed the top of our show, unfortunately, Jerry Krause has died at the age of 77. Just a quick word of condolences, again, for his family, his Bulls family. So impressive, guys, what he did, right?
Yeah, he was in. He got into more than one sport. You know, that's pretty amazing.
Basketball and baseball,
There were
6 championships in 8 years.
two great general managers named Jerry in the game of basketball, Jerry West and Jerry Krause.
Yeah.
Condolences to the family.
Absolutely. And all of the NBA family wishing everyone there the best. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thrilled to be joined by one of the biggest playmakers in the league. And this is an off-the-court situation. And this is really one of my favorite things we do at The Jump, and maybe in the spirit of Jerry Krause here. We like to talk about and talk to some of the behind-the-scenes folks that really make the league run. So welcome to sports agent and founder of Clutch Sports, Mr. Rich Paul. Thank you for getting on the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Really love you stopping by. And for people who aren't aware, here's just a few of the athletes currently represented by Rich and Clutch. LeBron James, John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, Ben Simmons, Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, J.R. Smith. For the record, that's the highest paid player in the league, the most recent Finals MVP, 2 first-round picks, including the number 1, 3 NBA champions. Clutch has a cool thing behind the name, too, right? It's an acronym?
Yes, yes. It stands for knowledge, longevity, understanding, trust, commitment, and honesty. And, you know, when I decided to name it that, I was really trying.
Contributions. He was a legendary scout, not just in basketball, but also in baseball. Just last year, he retired from the Arizona Diamondbacks staff. And Krause didn't draft Michael Jordan, but he put together all the pieces to help him win. Fishing Phil Jackson out of the CBA, drafting Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, taking a chance on Dennis Rodman. The NBA family wishes his family its deepest sympathies at this difficult time, as do we all, and he will be remembered. All right, from that, I am
Trying to figure out, you know, what you need to be in life. And I think all those things, you know, you define them. You need to be all those things in life to persevere through certain obstacles that life brings forward.
Well, obviously, there's a reason all these guys trust you with their career, starting with, of course, LeBron James. And one of the most fascinating things about LeBron, and you've been with him for such a long time, is that his whole career, and he clearly has this additional third to go, there's been these big questions about him, right? The beginning part was... Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, and we have some sad news to share off the top of the show today. Former Chicago Bulls general manager Jerry Krause has died at the age of 77. Krause, of course, one of the architects of one of the greatest dynasties in our sport, 6 championships in 8 years. Now, Krause had a complicated history with the players he managed. He often played the role of the bad guy, but in recent years had really seen ever-increasing recognition of his many